Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. I'm Frank Toohill. We're coming to you today from the Joe Trapasso Veterans Memorial Community House in Branford, Connecticut. We're going to be talking about service dogs for veterans. There could be 10 available that we would like to place, and believe me, service dogs, they can really assist the veterans. I mean, you don't need the walkers anymore or the wheelchairs. These dogs will, do all kinds of great assistance. And coming up on the program, we're going to show you them doing assistance. And we have with us today two distinguished guests. Both have service dogs. And we're going to start with Carolyn Sires. She is on the Branford Veterans Advisory Committee as well as the RTM 5th District, and she's going to bring in her two service dogs. The first one that we're going to see is Victory. Okay, so let's bring in Victory right now, and Carolyn Sires. Here comes Victory, a beautiful golden retriever. Hello, Carolyn.
Hi, Frank. This is Victory. Victory just turned 4 years old. He is a golden retriever service dog, and when we go out and we go to a restaurant or somewhere to eat, or where they're allowed in any restaurant, we tell them, get in, sit, in. Now, Victory will sit once I sit. If you notice, he wants to make sure that my command is what he needs to do, because they are so used to working that if I get up and get down, he has to do the motion. I tell him to get in. He waits and waits. Once I sit, Victory will sit. We do this at church. We do this at restaurants. And he knows, okay, she wants me to sit. The next one I'm going to bring in, Victory is 4, is Tuna. And Tuna's 10. She is the ambassador. I've traveled extensively with her. She's been all over Washington, D.C. and is well known in a lot of members of the House and the Congress. So I'm going to bring Tuna in. Victory may decide to get up when I get up, because he's worried about how do I need his help. And one thing you'll know about service dogs is their one goal is, do you need my help? I need to help you. You're going without me. Oh my God, you need me. So we'll see if Victory wants to get up or just stay with you, Frank, and just wait for me to come back.
Okay.
And I'll get Tuna for you.
All right, so Tuna's coming in right now with Carolyn,
stay.
and we'll see what happens with Victory.
Stay.
They're all
Good.
beautiful golden
Good,
retrievers. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, here comes Tuna.
This is Tuna. Tuna is 10 years old, and I have her for a little while. We'll see. I think Tuna is going to sit under you, Frank.
Okay.
So let's have Tuna get in.
Make yourself at home.
Tuna, come.
Be
Victory,
comfortable.
stay in.
Hey, Tuna.
See, now I'm up, and how Victory's up that I'm up. Let me sit down and get the dog situated. And it's always important for somebody, when they see us out, to let us get our dogs settled first before you come up and ask if you could pet them or what they're about. The dog is responding to the handler. So right now, Victory's settled. Let's see if Tuna will. And then, Frank, I'll let you go on with your survey.
Okay, so we're here to educate you today about Ecad. Ecad stands for Educated Canine Assistance with Disabilities. It also stands for East Coast Assistant Dogs. There's a great, it's a nonprofit 501c3 IRS from Winstead, and they train these dogs. That's what we're talking about today. And there are 10 available for veterans that need assistance. And so, we hope you find the program interesting. It's really a wonderful organization, and they've placed, 350 animals over the years, right?
We're nationwide. We place animals nationwide. They go on Ecad, ECAD, the number 1.org, fill out the information, and if they qualify, they train. As you will know, as we get into the program, the extensive amount of training, and there are 10 slots available, a grant for veterans, and we hope in Branford the people out there listen if you know of a veteran who needs one.
Okay, so that's again www.ecad and then 1, right? The numeral 1.org. That's the complete website. They have a store there. You can buy great Christmas and holiday gifts for your family, all to help support this terrific organization, Ecad. All right, so right now, all the way from Enfield to join us today on the program, we have with us Brian Greenleaf. He's a Vietnam vet. He also has one of the Ecad service dogs. He's going to be showing you some of the things that his Ecad dog, Passion, can do for him. So let's bring in right now Brian Greenleaf and Passion. Hello.
Hi.
Great to see you. Thanks for
Good to be
coming.
here, I'll tell you. We're very glad you're doing this, for getting the word out about the service dogs.
Oh, it's great. It's great to have that honor, sir. Okay, so, and also you might find this interesting. Passion and Victory are brothers, golden retriever brothers, and they're all beautiful animals.
Thank you. Yeah, they, and as Carolyn said, they want nothing more than to serve, to help you out and make sure. I can't go any place around the house or outside without him. And it's very reassuring just to know that he's going to be there all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure, Brian. So now Passion, I mean, you've had Passion for how long?
I've had Passion now. I'm going on 3 years. He just passed his third public access test, and I'm hoping to have him for another. I don't even want to put a number on the years. I just hope he's around forever.
Now, curious to know, Brian, I mean, what tasks can Passion perform for you?
Okay, well, first of all, with PTSD, he'll know, he realizes when I'm depressed or something like that, and he'll come over and either lie down across my feet to kind of ground me, or he'll get up in my lap. The first day that we went for the first public access test at Ecad, on the 14th day of training, he knew that I was very nervous about the test the next morning, and he came over and sat down right at my feet, put his chin on my knees, and just looked up at me as if to say, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to do okay. And we did. He's very, very intelligent.
I can see, and also very handsome. So now, since you have the service dog, Passion, if you did not have that dog, I mean, would you be in a wheelchair? Would you need a walker?
Yeah, I do have a wheelchair when I'm out on walking on uneven ground or anything like that with the MS. My balance is way off, and I've numerous times fallen. And Passion has a harness that I can put on him, and he actually helps me balance. He senses when I'm going to lean one way or the other, when my balance is off, and he'll get on that side and brush up against me, and it kind of, it brings me back to the moment, and my balance is better. I also use, as you saw, a forearm crutch coming in because I have no feelings in my hands or my feet, and it's hard for me to find out where I'm going. As far as Passion, if I take the wheelchair out on uneven ground or for any length of time walking, Passion was right alongside the wheelchair with me, and I also use it when I take him out for exercising. I can boost the speed of the wheelchair up, and he can actually, run along with me.
Oh, that's just terrific, Brian. So it's been in existence right since 1995, Ecad, and they've placed 350 animals, right, throughout the country.
Nationwide, 350 animals. And the public access that we're speaking of is very important. The public access proves that a facility is Assistance Dog International accredited, and a public access test, which Victory is due for his. We have to do them as handlers regularly, once or twice a year, depending on the organization. You go out in public, you have to be able to prove that your dog is not afraid of loud noises, can get in and out of an elevator, can pull the wheelchair. When a loud noise comes off, they only pay attention to the handler. They don't go into other people's space. They don't tug you. They only care about getting you where you need to go. And a public access test is very important, and you'll know you have a service dog that passed a public access test when they come near you and they behave accordingly.
Now, Ecad, right, they could have as many as 10 service dogs that they want to place. They have the grant money, and you can see if you qualify. Go to the website. The qualifications are all listed there, www.ecad1.org. And they can really take care, right, of a lot, right, of the household activities and routines, and their, company to you, in your home. I mean, it's just an outstanding program, outstanding canines, and it's just terrific. Now, Carolyn, Ecad, what does that stand for?
Ecad is Educational Canines Assisting Disabilities. I work with the veterans under Project HEAL, which is a division. They also have a division working with children and adults with many abilities, seizure disorder, diabetic, mobility, balance. So they have a large variety of placement, but specifically my passion and my work with the state and federal government happens to be with the veterans. I care that the veterans have these animals as medical assist device, that they work with their doctors to try to titrate down the medication, that they need less and less assistance on the medical system, that they feel that they can get through life and quality of life with their service dog, and that people realize that it is a medicine. It is not a pet. It is not something they just go out and get. It takes 1,900 hours to train these dogs, and the federal government recognizes them. The IRS recognizes them as a write-off, so the federal government recognizes them for that. And as we spoke earlier, Frank, about 2 pieces of legislation that passed in 2021, very proud of. We worked hard in Ecad to try to get them passed, so we could get into that. But there's a lot of service dogs out there, and we really are encouraging people qualify for it. You have to. It makes a big difference in your life. They are family. And as Brian can tell you, they change the meaning of family. I work with a veteran and his wife, and if you think about it, that dog takes the place of the need of a human. So you always relied on your human to get your medication, to open the refrigerator, to help you with the laundry, to help you get dressed. These things that I'm mentioning, the dogs do. They do. If you have the right front loader laundry, they can help you put it out of the washer into the dryer.
Wow.
They can carry the bag of laundry down the steps for you.
Wow.
If you have poor feeling in your hand. They can open the fridge and get you a bottle of water if you needed it.
Mm-hmm.
They are trained to do that. So all of a sudden, your relationship with the human becomes a nice interactive relationship. It's not, I need you, get me this, do that. The human can sleep at night because the dog will help you if you're having night sweats, wake you up, and do an all clear sign, run around the house and let you know it's all safe here. So your relationship with the humans become a new relationship with the human again, and you have a better relationship, a quality relationship. Because if you're constantly telling somebody, get me this, do that, it erodes why you have that relationship. And so Brian will tell you, at Ecad, we have to, the spouse and the family have to have a different relationship with the dog. My relationship with these dogs cannot be the same as somebody who doesn't need them. They have a more playful relationship. They have a more interactive one. Ours is more work-oriented. But I'm sure Brian can expound on that, having his family realize what is it like to now have a service dog and be your wife now or your daughter now and not your caregiver.
You're right, Caroline. When we first got Pash and brought him home, my wife, my daughter, couldn't look at him, pet him, or anything at all for 6 weeks. And anybody that's been around golden retrievers, that's almost impossible to do. These dogs are just so friendly. But they know that when they have the vests on, it's business. They don't want to be petted by anybody else. They don't want to be noticed by other people. Their sole purpose then is to help us out. And passion for me, for the longest time after I got out of the service and everything else, I would avoid crowds. I don't like meeting people, strangers especially. I go out of my way to avoid them. And now with Passion, we went to the Travelers Championship this past year. I volunteered there before in a position away from crowds and everything else, but this year we were a hole monitor up on the 8th hole. And Passion allowed me to sit there and mingle with the crowd. When they got in close on one side, Pash would go over to that side and stand between myself and the crowd. If they were in front of me, he would stand in front and do a front or behind me. Wherever the crowd was the most, he would get behind us. And the other thing that I really enjoy with Pash is he is my kayaking captain. We go kayaking with the Connecticut Adaptive Rowing Program out of Hartford, and he goes with me. He loves the kayak, and with him with me, I can get in, get out of the kayak with his assistance, where I don't have to rely on somebody else lifting me up, putting me in the kayak, lifting me up, and getting me out of it, which really bothers me a lot. It's so much more independent having Pash around with me like that. And he just loves it.
That's really terrific. Now, I wanted to know, Brian, would you tell me the purpose of the service dog? How come you applied for a service dog?
It was a kind of a very long affair. I had read about service dogs and the things they could do. I did not know about how they handled somebody with PTSD or anything like that. I knew with the multiple sclerosis, it's not going to get any better. It's just going to progressively get worse. And that was why I initially put in for Passion. And then I was talking with a nurse at the VA who said that, if you do get a service dog, they will help you out as far as, PTSD, the symptoms and the problems that you have with it. So I applied to Ecad. It was 2 years before I got word back from Ecad that I was qualified for the dog and everything else. And then you have the fundraising to pay for the dog. I was very lucky because I managed to get about half of the $25,000 for the dog. And the Hart Family Foundation out of California gave Lou money for 4 Afghanistan vets to get their service dogs. And Lou mentioned that she had an older, quotes, serviceman that out of Vietnam that had about half of the money raised for the service dog. And Hart Family Foundation said, no problem, we'll pay for the rest of that one too. So I was very, very fortunate, and hence that's why I have Passion now.
We rely on that. It's a nonprofit, and we do rely on donations. That is extremely important, that we do get donations for our veterans. And again, for others, we have other, you look at the graduation we have, you don't only see veterans. But the ECAB, one thing is you know where your money's going. You know it's going to be going to the person who needs that dog. You feel part of that relationship between the person and the dog. And that's one thing we always say. We've been in business 35 years, and you know where the money goes. And it's very important that people know that. So the price went up. The government is willing to pay $35,000 for the service dog because they know, and as Brian said, and as people out there listen, it is a long process, and you want it to be a long process. You want to make sure your dog acts like this when you go out. You don't want to be embarrassed. Being disabled is a public blemish. People look at you anyway. You don't want them to, judge you by your dog's ability or disability or the dog's actions. These dogs have a lot of extensive training, and it takes a while before you partner with the right dog, and they're not going to just put you with the dog because they have the money to do it. And it may take time. That one dog may not work. You may have to go through another one. It may not blend with the family. It may pull too much. It may be a boss too much. So until it's the right fit, you're not going to get that service dog, and it does take time, and you have to be willing to look forward to it like a Christmas gift.
A question for you, Carolyn. Would you tell us as to how did you hear about Ecad?
I again, have a nice long relationship with Ecad. I used to do equine therapy at Yale with the horses. And once that closed up, I did it mostly with the children with spina bifida and Down syndrome. And once Yale closed the stables, I still wanted to give back to the community. And I thought, there are no really horse places left in Connecticut. So I started researching canine. I went to many states, Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then I said, there's got to be one in Connecticut. And then I stumbled across Ecad, and I thought, oh, it's a gem, a diamond in the rough. They have grown exponentially through the years. A lot of high elected officials have come to the facility and agreed with me and helped them get grant and funding. Lou and Dale are the owners, and their daughter Carrie, who works very, very hard at this family business. Their door is always open. They work day and night. They want to make sure their clients are happy, their dogs are happy, it's the right fit, as well as their funding. So we have been very successful. I'm more of the liaison, the legislative liaison. I travel a lot to DC and find out what's out there to bring back to them, and vice versa. And it's 15 years now, and I hope to do it forever. It is a wonderful organization. It's based in science. That's one thing that, as a physical therapist, it was important to me to find something that I could put my license behind, and that it's credible. And they work with Pace University. They work with a lot of doctors. They make sure that it is their placement of their dog and their training of their dogs are based in science. And if it doesn't work, they're not shy to take the dog away and say, I'm sorry, the dog is number one and that's not a fit. And I found that extremely encouraging. And I will always work for them and help them. Volunteer.
Now, with the service dogs that are placed, right, with the various people with, with disabilities, is it possible that once the dog is placed, that the person, that they don't have to take as many drugs, as many prescriptions? Does that ever happen?
100%. It's possible. So we don't play doctor with that. We don't want people to stop their drugs because they could spiral backward into a worse situation. What we do is work with their doctors. We have charts, and we try to see, maybe you could take less of what you have,
yes,
but do it under your doctor's advice.
Yeah.
Always do it.
Yeah, always.
And Brian may have a story. Many of the veterans I work with report that their doctors, they're on much less medication. They're more social. I will tell you that these guys get their teeth brushed twice a day. So we feel if you have to groom your dog, you have to groom yourself. Okay? So we found that the veterans who kind of have a lackadaisical attitude toward life and how it treats them now are proud. They get dressed, they groom. If their dog looks good, then they have to look good. These dogs have to be brushed daily, teeth brushed twice a day.
What type of toothpaste, is used for dogs?
Specifically, peanut butter. There's peanut butter and chicken flavored toothpaste, and it's only for dogs, specifically for dogs. And they're trained since they're puppies. And I once you do it, and I brought his toothpaste and toothbrush. They open their mouth. They're ready for it. They are ready for it, and then I do a breath spray after. If they're going to be in public, I don't want people to smell dog. The biggest compliment I have when I fly all over is when I get off and somebody says, I didn't know there was a dog there. Or when I go to a restaurant and they say, I didn't know there was a dog there. That means I did my job.
Yeah.
And I have to do my job appropriately.
Now, also, I just wanted to ask you, so, for 15 years, right, you've been going down to Washington to try to impact, right, the legislation. So, and you said there was 2 recent acts just passed, to help the service dogs, is that right?
Very proud to say in 2021, 2 bills bipartisanly passed into law, into legislation. One of them is with the Department of Transportation, and it concerns animal in transit, specifically in the airplanes. I travel with Victory. I've traveled with Tuna as well as many of them on the train, and Amtrak has asked, can you please tell the legislation to extend it to the train? And what it is you have to fill out a form under penalty of a very serious fine and a federal indictment if you lie on your form, that you have a trained service dog that is ADI, Assistance Dog International accredited, and passes the public access test. That was passed into law. Proud to say, we worked with Senator Blumenthal's office on that, Congresswoman Rosa DeLaura's office, to make sure that Connecticut was brought into the loop with that. And the second one, most recently, I'm very proud of, is the PAWS Act, P-A-W-S.
Yep.
Very proud of that. I've gone with Ecad dogs and a lot of the troops down there. It's been you have to go regularly. As you know how slow this works. And we knock on the doors and we ask them to please sponsor this. So the PAWS Act is a study. It's a 3-year study where the federal government will give $35,000 to a veteran and a service dog team, and we monitor how they train and how it works scientifically and medically for the service dog, with the goal of proving finally that these are medical assist device. They are needed, they are necessary, they are important, and they are coded as medical assist device. So that got passed, and we're hoping that we get that underway. And Ecad is in Connecticut as one of the recipients of this, because we know we're good. We know we're good, we know what we're doing, and we have already the base of science to prove that. And the outcome, look at Brian, he can tell you what I said. You might ask him about the medication. He's a prime example of that.
Yeah, let's ask you about the medication. So after you got your service dog, Passion, what happened with your meds?
Yes, Caroline is right. I did have them cut back quite a bit, whereas I was taking 6 tablets a day for depression and just general well-being related to PTSD. Once we had Passion, my therapist couldn't believe the difference in my attitude and the testing and all that I was doing, and cut the medication down to over half. I'm down to 2 pills a day.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And it is. It's so relaxing not to have to take all these pills and the side effects and all. So the thing that I do like with Carolyn too, with the PAWS Act, when I got Passion, the VA doesn't do anything as far as helping out with the dog, other than the fact that they will lead you to some place that's ADI certified, and you get the dog through them and all, and then apply to the VA through your primary care physician, and then the VA will take one vet bill and pay for all the vet bills, the inoculations and everything else for that year, every year, which is actually a very big help too. But now with the PAWS Act, it's going to help veterans actually get the dogs, not have to pay so much out front of their own money.
That's great, Brian. So www.ecad and then numeral 1.org, right? They have 10 service dogs available for the veterans with disabilities. So if you think you might qualify, it's all online, the qualifications, but you should get your application in. As we've heard today from Carolyn and from Brian, these dogs can change your life. They can make a new person out of you. They can reduce the medications that you're on. They can make you feel better. And there's things they can do specifically, and we're going to see very shortly. We're going to see Brian give us a demonstration of what Passion can do, and we're also going to see Carolyn. She's going to show us both Victory and Tuna in the kitchen, what they can do for you, help you on stairs, open refrigerator doors. What about jars, Carolyn? Can they open jars?
Not yet. We'll work on that one. Thanks for the suggestion, Frank.
But they can do, all kinds of things, right?
Oh, yes. Pash makes a big hit at the pharmacy when I go to pick up my wife's pills and all that. After they put the pills in the bag and put the sales slip on it, they'll set it on the counter. Pash will actually put his paws on the counter, pick up the bag, and carry it over to my shopping cart. And he gives it to me, and I'll take it from him and then put it in the shopping cart. And I can't tell how many people have sat there with the oohs, the ahs, and isn't that something?
It's true. It is. It really is. It's just tremendous.
May I make a comment? So under the table, you see them. What they are is at ease right now. They're not tired. They're not sleeping. They don't have a job to do. Right now, the humans have a job to do. So they know that it's really none of their business what we're doing. And if this table were filled with food, they'd be just like this. They don't eat people food. So they don't, if the smells in a restaurant or food at the table doesn't interest them. They are like this in a restaurant or in transit. And look at all three of them a little while ago were getting to know each other, seeing each other, and now they're just waiting for a command. They're waiting for a job to do.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. All right, so I think what we're going to do now is take a short pause. We're going to shut the camera off, and then we're going to show you some demonstrations. Brian with passion, and Carolyn with tuna and victory. So stay with us as Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues here, coming to you from the Joe Trapasso Veterans Memorial Community House. Stay with us. All right, so we're here in the kitchen here, right, at the Joe Trapasso Veterans Memorial Community House in Branford, Connecticut. Now, it's a kitchen, and let's pretend this is your kitchen, and you're at home, and, you know, you might have some unfortunate disabilities, and so you want help around the house. And so you have a service dog, and this is a trained service dog from Ecad. And so the first task that Carolyn Sires is going to show us is this. We're going to show the dog opening the doors of a refrigerator.
So, thanks, Frank. So one of the conditions may be a peripheral neuropathy, where you have very poor feeling in your hands and very poor feelings in your extremity. And there's some point where you have no feeling, and the dog is trained to open this item here and to get retrieve. Usually it's a bottle of water or something that's shaped like that. So we tell our clients, make sure that it's shaped that it's not too big for a dog. Make sure that you don't want to fake the dog out. You want them to succeed in every task because they want to make you happy, happy, happy. So let's show Frank. I'll hand you the mic and I'll have Victory open up, and it's constant cueing. We use constant cueing.
Okay, so this is great.
Victory, open. Get it. Tug. Come on. You can do it. Come on, boy. You can do it. Pull. Tug. Yay! Yes! Good boy. Yes! Notice the tail wagging. The tail's wagging. So Victory would look inside. There is nothing in here. But look at, Mom wants water. Can you get it? Can you get it? Get me the water. Go ahead. Get the water.
Victory.
Good boy.
Victory.
Yes!
Oh my gosh.
Give it to Brian.
Look at that.
Bring it, Victory. Give. Good
Yes,
boy.
good boy,
Gosh.
Victory.
Good
Yes,
boy,
sit,
Victory.
Sit. Yes, what a good boy you are. That's all they want. They want to know
Love.
that they
Love.
did their job.
Yeah, it's true.
They went from sitting down to now having a task, and they couldn't be happier. Paw?
You'll notice that
Oh,
Caroline did not give him a
thank you.
treat.
Thank
After
you,
that,
sweetheart.
it's, the reinforcement
Thank you,
with
boy.
loving the dog, petting the dog,
Yeah.
and the dog will shake hands with you and everything else, but the dog only
Thank
wants your approval.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, these dogs are obviously trained so well. It's just amazing. And now, right, Mr. Greenleaf, you told me that, you've had your dog for 2 years, and you couldn't imagine being without one now, right?
I could not imagine it, no. As I told you too, we were sitting in our living room one afternoon, and Pash was laying across my feet, and typical Pash, he rolled over on his back, all four legs up in the air and squiggling around and all, and I started to laugh again, and my wife says, gee, it's nice to hear. She says, I've never heard you laugh as much as such you've had passion.
Wow.
So it definitely brings you out of your shell.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so currently, right now, what we're going to see is, some more demonstrations of these wonderfully trained Ecad service dogs, and it's going to be Mr. Greenleaf's turn coming up next. Stay with us. Okay, that was a great kitchen demonstration by Carolyn Sires and Victory. And right now, we're going to show you another demonstration. Brian Greenleaf, the Vietnam veteran, came all the way down with his family today from Enfield, and he's got his dog for 2 years, Passion. And so what we're going to do now, right, we're going to pretend that it's the end of a long day and that there's help required by Mr. Greenleaf from passion. And so I guess you're going to have trouble reaching down, and then what's going to happen, sir?
Yes, I do have trouble, bending over to like untie my shoes, take my shoes off, my socks or whatever. So I usually just step on the laces, unlace the shoe that way, and then I can just loosen up, and Passion will actually take the shoe off for me, so I don't have to bend over.
All right, so, I mean, that's what we're going to see right now. Okay, so he can't quite reach his shoe, and so
Get it.
Passion's going to take the shoe
Get
off.
it. Get it. Take it. Take it. Get it.
Taking this.
Get it. Thank you.
Wow, isn't that
Bring it.
something? So
Good boy.
There's the right shoe was just taken off, Mr. Greenleaf. So you see, you can have your own service animal help you undress, it's great. Ecad is, that's the organization to get in touch with. They have 10 dogs that they want to give out. It's www.ecad1.org, okay? So that was great, a great demonstration.
Thank you. I do have problems, like I say, I face planted I don't know how many times, bending over to take my shoes or socks off or whatever, until I was finally reminded enough times by my daughter that he is actually capable of doing that. And so we do it, and it's a big help.
You make the full use out of your service dog.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
do.
That's true. Yeah, that's great. All right. So right now, there's going to be some more exhibits from the service dogs with Carolyn Sires. Stay with us. Okay, so here's Carolyn, and she's with her service dog, Victory, and she's gonna do a few things for us.
So I'm walking along, and I can't feel it. I drop it. Get it. Get it, Victory. Give it to me. Get it. Victory, up. No, give it to me. All right. He thinks we're playing now, so we stop. No, leave it. Leave it. Which is okay, because we've been in a playful mood, and I have to know the difference between that.
Right?
So
It's all good.
It's always all good. We never use punishment, ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
It's always correction. I failed. I don't look at him as failing. I failed. He knows enough that he's supposed to pick it up and give it to me. So we keep trying it until he gets it right. Victory's 4, and this is not one thing that I do regularly, so I have no problem with him failing once or twice. That I have to recorrect myself. As the handler, he has to teach me as well. So I walk, if I drop it, pick it up. Give it to me. Give it to me. Victory, get it? Give it to me. Good
There we
boy.
go. There.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That's
Good
great.
boy.
That's great, Victory.
Very good. So now he knows the tail wags. He did the right thing. So that was wonderful for him.
That's great.
If I'm walking and I have a neuropathy and I'm walking with him and I'm very nervous because I have a lot of things, I drop the leash. Victory, leash. Leash. Oh my, give me your leash. Give it to me. Victory, give me the leash. Good
that's great,
boy.
that's great, that's
Yes.
great.
Always yes. Always yes is what they do. Good boy, sit. Good boy. You like the mic, huh? Good boy, yes. And I want to give him a reward, a long, hard day. Not too much. We see Victory's got some weight to lose, so we always don't want to do too much for a reward for him. But one thing is, service dogs are trained not to eat off the floor because it could be medication.
Yes.
And most of our clients are on medication, and we don't want them to accidentally take a medication. So what we'll do, oh, here comes our girl Tuna, and Tuna, they smell the treat. Well, we'll call Tuna, go ahead, Tuna. So what we'll do is, the rule is the treat should be in my hand or in the bowl. So let's have Tuna go over here. We'll give Tuna a treat over here. And that's okay that she came. That's fine, because why not me, Mommy? Why not me? So Victory, sit. Sit. Stay. Watch it. Stay. Leave it. So he eyeballs me. Leave it. and he's watching, I'll put that down, no. Because if that's a pill, or a piece of glass, or a flower, poinsettia or something, and they're natural, I don't want him to have it. And he has to wait till I say, go get it. Good boy, yes. So he waited till the command
Yeah.
that I thought it was safe, and now he could have the treat.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
It really is. These dogs are trained so well.
Good
It's
boy.
www.ecad1.org.
Yep.
If you think you might qualify, you've got to be a veteran, and there's other qualifications as well. They're looking to give 10 trained service dogs out. So, if you think you might qualify, go to the website. All right, well, it's been great to talk about Ecad, and we're almost finished. The thing we're going to do is we're going to leave the building, the Joe Trapasso Veterans Memorial Community House, and on the way out, we're going to close the program. So stay with us. Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues. Okay, of course, we can't end the program without first showing you Carolyn Sires brushing Victory's teeth, like we talked about earlier today. So you have the toothpaste?
I have the toothpaste for the dog. I'm going to use my finger. I don't have the finger cut with me or the toothbrush. But Victory already knows that we're going to start brushing the teeth. And look how he just opens his mouth for me. He doesn't ever give me a problem. Automatically, remember, they don't produce that spit saliva that humans do. So they'll lick it down, and I get the gum line, and I get his all the way through.
Those are sharp-looking teeth.
And let me tell you, he knows this is not optional. We brush our teeth. It's not optional.
What
It
type
has to
of-
get done.
what type of
This
toothpaste?
This is peanut butter flavor.
Uh-huh.
It is peanut butter flavor.
That
Of
sounds
course,
good.
I try because I want to make sure that it's safe for my dog, and it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't use it all the time, but it is for the dog. So I get all the way in back. I make sure I get on the gum line. I make sure that we get an X every tooth, and I get inside and all over. And then Victory could get, I usually use a breath spray after this, and we get a nice minty flavor, and then he's ready for going out. And let me tell you why, Frank and Henry. As you notice, we were in the kitchen. These dogs are clean.
Yes.
Everybody has to have a clean dog.
Yep.
They are allowed everywhere a human can go. The reason they cannot go in the operating room is once you're under anesthesia, you can't control your leash. I can't give my leash to anyone. You can't control my dog. He'll listen, but he will be focused on where's Carolyn, where's Carolyn. So when you lose control of your senses, that's where the dog can't go. It has nothing to do with it's a clean, sterile environment. Our dogs are clean. Our dogs have to be clean. I wouldn't bring him in a kitchen or a restaurant if he wasn't clean, because I have the responsibility as the handler to make sure that my dog is acceptable in the public. So people don't have to be freaking out about a dirty dog. They're not. They're not. Basic cleaning is all you need.
Okay.
Tooth twice a day, and all I have to say is, give me your paw. What a good job you did today, Victory.
Yeah, it's
Didn't
true.
he do a good job?
the best,
He's
yeah.
such a good boy.
Yeah.
Such a good boy.
He's
And then-
always, I just wanted to say, Carolyn, right, over the last 2 years, I've seen him at all the public meetings you and I go to, the RTM, et cetera, and this dog has always been, perfectly behaved,
Very much so. He pays attention, so I'll have to ask him what happened in the meeting if I doze off, because he pays attention.
He
He's
takes
a good
notes,
boy.
too.
He takes notes. Oh, what a good boy. That's all they want is praise. That's all
Yeah.
they want. They live for that.
Yeah.
But thank you for covering this. It's so
Oh, yeah.
important for our veterans. We cannot do enough for those who
I
serve in
know, it's
uniform for
true.
us.
They give their lives, and
I
know.
encourage people to go on the site, even to watch the graduations they have,
Yeah.
and how much more these dogs can do. It could take days to show you everything. Nope,
Okay.
no more.
Okay, so we're almost through with our program. We're just going to go downstairs and exit the building, and you'll be seeing that, so stay with us. And again, thank you, Brian Greenleaf, for coming down, to us and your family as well, all the way from Enfield today.
Thank you for doing this and making it aware that, these dogs are available and there is help available to get the dogs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Brian, thank you too. All right, so stay with us. Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues. Okay, we're just about to end our program. We hope you've enjoyed it. It was all about Ecad. Ecad is a tremendous organization in Winstead, educated canines assisting with disabilities. We really showed you how these trained service dogs can change people's lives and that they can reduce the medications you might be on. And there's 10 service dogs available. Go to www.ecad1.org to see if you're qualified. And so we're going to leave the Joe Trapasso Veterans Memorial Community House in Branford, Connecticut. And right now, Brian Greenleaf is going to show us how his service dog, Passion, opens the door.
Up, hash, up, passion, up, switch, switch. Good boy, good.
And the door opens. Isn't that wonderful? And they go out. Isn't that terrific? Wonderfully trained dog, Passion. He's had him for 2 years. He's told us on the program it's changed his life. Hey, there he goes, out. All right, and so now Carolyn Sires is going to demonstrate the same thing with her service animal, Victory. So here comes Carolyn.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Henry, for around the town. Here's a good example. My hands are loaded, and people want to have a normal life and be able to do it. So the switch, we have to take them to it, tap it, eyeball, Victory, up, switch. Good boy, what a good gentleman. Thank you, Victory. And then we go away. Thank you so much.
Oh,
really
you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
thank you for coming down
Victory, up,
from
switch.
Enfield today, the Greenleaf family. You know, we appreciate it. So it's been great to be with you today. All 3 service dogs, Victory, Tuna, this is Tuna, and Passion. And I hope that we were able to, explain to you Ecad and the great service dogs that, that they have provided. Over 350 they've placed since 1995. It's truly a terrific organization. So I'm Frank Toohill for Henry Pond. It's been great to be with you around the town of Branford with Henry and Frank, a Telly Award-winning program. Until next time, goodbye.